All right, today we're building something really incredible.
Just imagine for a second a financial system that's not made of these, rigid, pre-built structures. Instead, it's made of individual blocks you can just click together any way you want. We're talking about a system with no middlemen, no central authorities, just you directly connecting with other users. And that right there is the promise of decentralized finance, or DeFi. At its core, it's all built on something called smart contracts. These things create what people call money Legos, and they let us do all sorts of things: lend, borrow, trade directly with each other. So, you ready? Let's open the box and see what we're working with. Okay, so the first and honestly the most fundamental Lego block in our entire set is the trading block. This is the piece that lets you swap one asset for another. So, when it comes to trading in the crypto world, you've basically got two options. On one hand, you have your traditional centralized exchanges. We call them CXs. They work a lot like a stock market with these things called order books. But on the other hand, you have decentralized exchanges, or DEXs, and they use this pretty revolutionary concept called a liquidity pool. So what in the world is a liquidity pool? Well, just picture this. It's like a giant, community-funded pot of tokens. It isn't owned by some big company. Nope, it's funded entirely by users, by people like you and me. We're the ones who supply the assets that other people need to trade. And the best part? In return, we get to share in the profits. And this is where it gets really, really powerful. See, every single time someone makes a trade, there's a small fee, right? Usually it's something like 0.3%. But that fee doesn't go into the pockets of a company. No way. It gets distributed directly back to all the users who supplied the tokens in the first place. It's their reward for making the whole thing possible. Okay, so here's where it gets even more interesting. You can completely switch your role. Instead of just being a trader, you can be the one who provides the tokens. You can be the one earning those fees. In a way, you get to be the house. And you know what? It's actually surprisingly simple to do. All you do is pick a pair of tokens you want to support, say ETH and USDC. You deposit an equal value of both of them into the pool, and that's pretty much it. From that moment on, you start earning a tiny piece of every single trade fee that happens in that pool. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so it sounds great, and honestly, a lot of the time it is. But there's a catch. There's a really unique risk in DeFi that you absolutely have to understand before you jump in. It's got a weird name: impermanent loss. Let me break it down. In the simplest terms, it's the risk that you could have actually made more money by just doing nothing, by just holding your assets in your wallet instead of putting them in the pool. This usually happens if the price of one of the tokens changes, like a lot. Now, the good news is, in the name, it's called impermanent for a reason. It's only a loss on paper. It doesn't become real until the exact moment you decide to pull your funds out. All right, let's look at an example, because that always makes it clearer. Let's say you start with $2,000 worth of assets. Now, in that top row, you just hold on to them. When Ether's price quadruples, boom, you're sitting on $5,000. Easy. But now look at the bottom row. You're a liquidity provider. The smart contract has been automatically rebalancing your assets the whole time to keep the pool stable. So now you have less Ether, but more of the stable coin. Your total value, $4,000. See that $1,000 difference? That's it. That's impermanent loss. But, and this is the crucial point, while impermanent loss is definitely a risk you have to watch, those trading fees you're collecting, the ones that are trickling in day after day, over time, they can often completely cover and sometimes even exceed that potential loss. That's why the game is often about providing liquidity for the long haul, letting those fees stack up. All right, let's grab our next Lego block and see how this whole thing starts to build. This next one is all about borrowing and lending, and it's a game changer because it lets you get your hands on cash without having to sell your crypto. Now, this is usually the first question that pops into everyone's head, right? Why on earth would you deposit, say, $2,500 of crypto just to borrow $1,000? I get it. It sounds weird at first, but trust me, there are some really powerful reasons why you'd over-collateralize like this. Okay, for one, maybe you need cash for something, but you're super bullish on your crypto. You think the price is going to go way up and you don't want to sell. Or maybe you want to avoid a big tax bill because borrowing isn't the same as selling. And as we're about to see, you can even use that borrowed money to go out and make more money. It's all about unlocking the value of what you own without actually giving it up. So here's the play-by-play. First, you take your collateral. We'll say it's $2,500 worth of Bitcoin, and you deposit it into a decentralized lending protocol. And then, against that collateral, you can take out a smaller loan. Let's say you borrow $1,000 in stablecoins. That extra $1,500 that you left in there, that's the safety buffer. It's what makes the people lending the money feel secure.
But just like with providing liquidity, there's a big risk here you need to know about. It's called liquidation. Here's what happens. If the price of your collateral suddenly crashes and its value gets dangerously close to the amount you borrowed, the smart contract doesn't wait around. It automatically sells your collateral to pay back the loan. So you would lose that collateral, but you do get to keep the money you borrowed. Okay, so let's recap. We have our blocks, right? We've got the trading block, the earning block, and the lending block. But here is the real magic of DeFi. This is the part that changes everything. They are composable. That's just a fancy word that means they can click together, just like Legos, to build some seriously complex and powerful financial machines.
And this is where it all clicks into place. So check this out. Imagine you take an asset that is already making you money, maybe some staked assets, and you deposit that as collateral. Then, using that as backing, you borrow another asset, and you make sure you get a really low interest rate on that loan. And then, this is the final step. You take the money you just borrowed and you put it to work somewhere else, earning an even higher yield. Now think about that. If you set it up right, the yield you're earning is higher than the interest you're paying on your loan. You just stacked 3 of our Lego blocks together to build your own personal yield-generating machine. Incredible. Look, DeFi opens up this whole new universe of financial possibilities. It's amazing, but it is so crucial to remember this one thing. When you are your own bank, you are also your own head of security. There is no customer service line to call if something goes wrong. The responsibility is entirely on you.
So, is it true financial freedom? Or is it just a high-stakes building game? The truth is, this new financial system just offers up a box of incredibly powerful building blocks to anyone who wants to use them. The blocks are right there. The only question left is, what are you going to build?